Hi and welcome to another episode. Today we count down 8 ancient weapons of mass destruction. I hope you enjoy. Number 8. Chinese repeating crossbow. Unlike the crossbows you may be used to that fire a single shot before required to be reloaded, which would be a slow and timely affair, the Chinese repeating crossbow could be loaded with as many as 10 bolts for quick and repeated fire. And I know what you may be thinking. Well, 10 bolts doesn't sound like much compared to the modern day machine guns that can shoot hundreds of rounds per minute. Well, yeah, you're right. But to think that the machine gun is only really a recent development in modern warfare, whereas the Chinese repeating crossbow is believed to go as far back as 4000 BC. It would be many years before anyone else created anything to outpower this amazing war machine. Number 7. Polybolus. This is much like the Chinese repeating crossbow, but bigger. The Polybolus was the ancient Greek repeating ballista, believed to be invented by Dionysius of Alexandria in 3000 BC. This war machine had a magazine that was capable of holding several dozen bolts, sat above the Mensa, dropping each bolt into place one by one for quick fire action. Mythbusters even did a reconstruction of this back in 2010 and concluded that the machine was indeed possible. Number 6. Catapult. The catapult, because nothing else says hello to your enemies quite like throwing half a ton of earth to shatter down their castle walls. But why stop there? The excellent thing about a catapult was, to a degree, they could launch anything you desired. So if you fancied like dropping a couple of dead bodies on your enemy's head to give them a terrifying experience, you were well within your capabilities. The catapult was a huge construction that took advantage of the use of leverage and tension, in order to hurl heavy weights hundreds of meters in any desired location, giving you a massive advantage when trying to knock down your enemy's walls from a distance. Number 5. Archimedes Heat Ray. Now diving headfirst into the realms of impossibility. Or is it? The Archimedes mirror, or also known as the Archimedes Heat Ray, was a collection of mirrors set up in perfect formation to reflect light on a single point, effectively creating a heat ray. The legend surrounding the story says that the heat ray could burn down invading ships from a distance, ingeniously killing the enemy before they've even landed. Now, I'd hate to bring up Mythbusters again, but they did an episode on this one and they said that the legend was debunked and that it wouldn't work. But I have to heavily disagree with them on this one, as people have used the Archimedes mirror to make solar powered furnaces. The furnace utilises the natural heat in the sun bounced by hundreds of mirrors to a single point, and the combined heat is hot enough to melt steel. So I believe the Archimedes heat ray was very probable and not at all impossible. Number 4. Famine. Some of you may be thinking, well, how exactly do you utilise famine? You can't pick it up and you can't throw it at someone or hit them with it, so how exactly is famine a weapon? Well, quite easily an army would approach a castle or heavily fortified village. The people in the castle are safe behind their concrete walls, but their safety is soon used against them. All the invading army has to do is wait. While they're on the outside, they can get fresh supplies to keep them going, whereas the people on the inside of the castle are slowly running out of food and water. Eventually, they starve to death. The invading army really didn't have to do anything except for to look intimidating and to wait their enemy out. Number 3. Biological warfare. Biological warfare is a weapon of mass destruction and has been used far longer than most modern day people give it credit for. Most ancient civilizations knew of illnesses and diseases, and even intentionally used sick people to pass on their germs to their enemies. An example of this can be seen when settlers reached America in the 1600s. The settlers brought the smallpox, which killed many Native Americans. The same thing happened with the indigenous Australians when European settlers reached Australia. Smallpox, measles and tuberculosis spread through the native colonies, nearly wiping them out. It's scary really to think that simply shaking someone's hand in a friendly way could possibly kill them due to your germs, or possibly even kill you due to their germs that your body is unfamiliar with. What I'm really getting at here is, don't go shaking my hand, okay? I don't want to die. Number 2. Fire. It has to be on here. Fire is probably one of the oldest weapons of mass destruction, utilised since the dawn of man, as old a weapon as the humble stick used to beat people over the head. Using fire as a weapon meant that you could burn down your enemy's surrounding fences, you could burn down their huts, their houses, killing anyone not quick enough to get out in time. But even then, they'd be choking to death on the smoke that comes with fire. making them easy prey for anyone to take them out nice and easy. Invading armies have used fire to kill hundreds of people in a single action with very little effort by burning down the very buildings people gathered into for safety, turning their own constructions against them. Fire is evil and merciless and will take out anything and anyone that gets in its way, so it's only fair that it gets a spot on this list. And finally, the number 1 all-time weapon of mass destruction. Religion. I'm making religion the last one on the list, and I believe it's perfectly justifiable, even if it does make a lot of people angry. Religion has probably killed more people than all of the previously mentioned weapons. There have been so many holy wars in the past, and even some religious wars still going on now, such as in the Middle East, and even many terrorist groups say they are acting in the name of God. Examples of great religious wars are the 30 Years' War, which saw 11.5 million people die, the French Wars of Religion, which saw 4 million people die, the Sudanese Civil War, which saw 2 million people die, the Crusades, which saw 3 million people die, and the Lebanese Civil War, which saw 250,000 people die. All these deaths were in the name of religion, and I think you'll agree it deserves to be number 1 on this list. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe.